690 days since Richard was premeditated, code red, murdered on Fort Bliss. Yes, it was internal, and it was a result of course, him criminal trafficking and being MAGA, right? Being MAGA, um, being Christian, being MAGA. Very clear. Everything's getting very, very clear. And the biggest target, the larger target, of course, was President Trump because he was chief law enforcement officer, right? Chief magistrate. When you're the president of the United States, you are the chief magistrate. You are the chief law enforcer. You're the head of the military, right? You're it. You are it. The buck stops with the president of the United States, and it's such an important, super important position. And they were after him because, see, the thing is with Richard reporting to the IG, to Child Protective Services, to the FBI Houston, to El Paso Police, to CID, him reporting. If it is compromised, and it was, we know that the IG compromised, CPS, Child Protective Services compromised, FBI Houston compromised, the El Paso Police Department compromised. It was all compromised. We have all the hard evidence. This is not me saying, oh, maybe, I'm just angry or whatever. No, this is absolutely with names and badges, and hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, to back up everything that we're saying. And we've been doing this for over 4.5 years. So we've been very, very careful from the very beginning to investigate. Well, we were told to investigate our son's murder, right? We were told to investigate his disappearance. And of course, we knew it was his murder, and to bring forth leads. And those leads, we never even imagined that it would turn out the way it has, right? Never. This is all by God's hand, and he just provided, seek and ye shall find. We looked, and we found. And God provided all of that, from Nadal Baim to Veronica Escobar to Dallas Hart to Tavita Nusa and CID agent, how the CID have Marlon Soto, and even those that helped us, we absolutely have connected them. And they were up to no good. They were agents. They were absolutely agents to those that had harmed our son. And the agents, meaning spies, making sure to mislead us, to redirect us, to get information what we had, to even impersonate us, and if you have been following, you absolutely know that we provide the evidence behind it to make our statements. And the prime suspects are Leilani Hart and Tavita Nusa. Dallas Hart is number one prime suspect in the murder case of our son. And, but there was a lot of people that, because it was a premeditated and orchestrated like the Walmart mass shooting. You see, he was reporting, and the key magistrate, the chief magistrate, the commander in chief, the chief magistrate, the top law enforcement officer at the time was President Trump. And President Trump, absolutely, if you know anything, if you've seen anything in these past years, 8 years, I would say almost a decade now, if you've learned anything, you learned that that President Trump is absolutely not one of their favorite people. That means, they don't want him to be in charge because then they can't do their crimes with impunity. That's what this means. And so when he was in office, they were just, they tried to do everything they could to get him out of office, whether you liked him or not, whether you voted for him or not. The fact is they tried everything they could to get him out of office because he was the chief law enforcer. He was the commander in chief. He was the chief magistrate. He is, the FBI didn't like him, right? He President Trump talked at the FBI building today and he was saying it was weaponized. It was weaponized against him, and it absolutely was. Because if it wasn't, there would be evidence and he would already be suffering the consequences. But because everything was masqueraded, right? It was a simulation, a simulation. There was no beef there. There was no crime there. There was nothing there. It was nothing. And it was just hatred. That's what it was. It was just protecting their $1 billion business that they were doing illegally, and they wanted to continue to do it with impunity, and he wasn't letting him do it. He wanted to um, have strong border. He wanted to have a strong, vetted border. Um, and, they didn't want that. They make a lot of money with their criminal trafficking. And so they were absolutely furious that Richard was reporting, because this is where we, the people, need to really understand that we are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And in order to get our chief magistrate to have a chief law enforcer, the commander in chief, to really respond to the crime in a local area, because of course the president is in Washington, D.C. Uh, you have to file your complaints. You have to file your reports. And Richard did that. And that's who they hate, right? Any we the people of the people, by the people, that put what they see down on paper and report it. And that's what Richard did. He reported. He made the call. He made the call. He he witnessed to the criminal activities, to um, eh, the trafficking that was going on, so many criminal activities on Fort Bliss. He reported it. And because of that, the chief law enforcer, the commander in chief, the chief magistrate, Donald Trump, could move, could act. And that's why there were audits. That's why there was, it's kind of like you have to have a reasonable cause, right, to act. And in order to have that reasonable cause, you have to have someone to report it. And that was Richard. And that's how that worked. And we know that President Trump was absolutely responding because we were told. We were told by Brigadier General Stewart. We were told by CID agent Marlon Soto. We were told by Major General Sean Bernabe. We were told. Um, and, and they try to keep it a secret. They try to, um, and you can even uh, get the uh, witness out of what they weren't telling us and what they weren't doing, right? So, and we were told also by soldiers during our rallies, all through El Paso. So, that's how that happened, and they had to stop it. They had to stop it. They had to redirect the investigation into their criminal trafficking huge network enterprise, billions of dollars. And I feel that our evidence all shows that the Walmart mass shooting was orchestrated. You don't have Patrick Crusius surrendering himself twice and that not being orchestrated or something wrong with him or something like that, right? And there's audio of that. So, um, and then of course, there's so much evidence with the Mielas, with just not bagging Patrick Crusius's hands and everything. But I want to say that with all of the evidence, and you might say, "Oh my gosh, that what's going to happen now? There needs to be a review or something like this." Everyone needs to know, really, when you peel the onion open, who's at the center? Who's at the center responsible for the botched case of Patrick Crusius, the Walmart mass shooting case, the millions and millions of dollars that they charge taxpayers in order to enrich the lawyers and the judges involved in this that absolutely were absolutely criminal. But when you peel down the lemon, sorry, when you peel open the onion and you go layer to layer of who's really responsible to this, it really comes to mainly two people, and that is Penny Hamilton and Veronica Escobar. And why do I say that? Because Penny Hamilton magistrated Patrick Crusius, and Penny Hamilton had no authority at all to magistrate anyone. She also sealed the case. She had no authority at all to seal the case because she's a nobody. She's a nothing. She's a nothing. She's a nobody. You know, um, and the reason why is she was appointed by County Judge Veronica Escobar in 2017. In 2017. And all of her paychecks were approved by County Judge Veronica Escobar, and then, of course, Judge Samaniego after that. But it was because of Veronica Escobar that there was this huge fraud called Penny Hamilton that botched the Walmart case right from the very beginning. And that is, and it's no mistake that the two of them um, were very anti President Trump, right? Very. So, very anti, I would say Penny Hamilton, very anti rule of law because she was attacking Yvonne Rosales, right? And she's nobody. And why is this so important? Because the criminal law magistrate court in 2015 gained full countywide jurisdiction. Before then, they weren't. They weren't. Almost, but not quite. And when they became full jurisdiction, full countywide jurisdiction in 2015, everything changed because the Texas Constitution requires that the judges be elected. Okay? That the judges be elected, that they have to answer to the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. And the election, the right to vote, was denied the people of El Paso County. The right to vote has been denied the people of El Paso County for their justices on the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court. Every individual that's masquerading in a robe sitting on a bench right now needs to be arrested. They need to have the clinky things around their wrist. They need to be arrested. They are absolutely criminal. And it is Penny Hamilton with Veronica Escobar that botched the Walmart mass shooting case. Okay. And Veronica Escobar, she's known all along because she was there. She was the county judge. She was a county judge that appointed these masqueraders. Okay. These that mask, and she also approved their payment. And so all these cases are really, um, it's a mess. It's a mess. And I hear from the courthouse, I hear from El Paso that it is like a chill in the air. They are, frozen because they don't know what to do. And this creates some other problems, huge problems that I'll explain to you tomorrow that are really, really important. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around everything that we have um, investigated, and but absolutely, I will let you know tomorrow. Um, but this magistrate court is really the big, big, big elephant in the room. Okay, it's the big elephant in the room. It's an elephant in the room wearing a necklace of grenades. That's what this is. And they're trying to pass around this elephant in the room that has this necklace of grenades around it because of what's going on, the implications of everything that's going on at the county courthouse, the magistrate court. To the Walmart mass shooting case, to our case, our son's case. And on top of that, you have the county attorney, Christina Sanchez, now also being she has to recuse herself now, right? She has to recuse herself from the James Montoya matter, right? The fake installation, or the failed installation is better said, the failed installation of James Montoya. She can not get anywhere near it legally because now she has a conflict of interest because she is in the notary logbook um, that has been tampered with. Okay, that absolutely has been tampered with. And so she has a huge conflict of interest. She's a witness now. She could be called in as a witness in this matter. And so she has to recuse herself totally from the Montoya matter. And now, so you have another extra problem, besides all the tampering and the altering and the collusion and the the Mag Corp being totally unauthorized and everything. Well, not the Mag Corp, but these judges are just not, they have no authority at all because they're not judges because they haven't been elected, right? They have to be elected. So this is, to even have any authority, they have to be elected. And this is according to the rule of law, right? And they're not above the rule of law. They're not outside the rule of law. They have to abide by the rule of law, and they're not. And this is the problem. So besides the MacCorp being totally broken, and the DA's office being broken, and now we have the county attorney broken, and then of course, we have Fort Bliss broken, right? Broken. Um, it's and the medical examiner broken. Um, and so this there is no more, oh, I can't believe it. It wouldn't be that corrupt. No, it is that corrupt. It is that corrupt. And President Trump absolutely knows it. And he is working diligently to um, identify the criminals. Remember, you have to identify the crime, document the crime, file the crime, prosecute the crime. And so he's been identifying the crime. We found out that the 29 extradited um, cartel members, that's a long story about the extradition, but the the most important information is that they willed and dilled. They willed and dilled and squilled. Okay, they willed and dilled and squilled. Um, yeah, and that is what and what were they squealing about? The narco politicians. Okay, willing, dilling, squilling about the narco politicians. That's what we heard. That's from a good, very good source. That's what we're hearing. They willed and dilled and squilled. And, the information that President Trump was trying to get from them was about the narco politicians. And why? Because he's trying to identify who are the narco politicians. Let's document it. Let's file it. Let's prosecute it. And in order to assert his power as a chief law enforcement officer, he has to have a law enforcement system, a judicial system that is working. And in El Paso, it's not working. Okay, it's not working. And so that's why, Leilani Hart is um, still not arrested. Morales, I don't know what he's thinking. Um, maybe I don't know. I don't know if he what he's thinking. Maybe it clearly he's compromised. Clearly, clearly, so many are compromised because she's still walking around. And she must have some really good, Leilani Hart must have a lot of good information. And I would think that that information was maybe she has information on Veronica Escobar because I just feel like those two, I think they're sisters, right? I think they're sisters or, and what I mean in that is in spirit, but I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like they know each other. I just feel like they have that same spirit and they know each other. And so Leilani Hart, absolutely, she has a lot to say, a lot to say. And it's we know that she's being protected because she's not arrested and she needs, why is she above the law? Why is she outside the law? Why can she act with impunity? She absolutely, there's no excuse. She needs to be arrested. So, We're hearing that there's a real shakeup in the Republican club right now, looking for a new leader. I thought it was Baca, but it wasn't. It was Gonzalez. It was Hayward Gonzalez, and I think he's stepping down. And there, Baca was the former leader for that. Uh, anyway, but he's still a very important person. Mr. Baca is, and so it's. When he says shut down the Walmart case, it's not just anybody saying that. It is somebody with major connections that's saying that. Um, so yeah, I hear there's a huge shakeup in the Republican Party, and I think that is a result of President Trump. I'm not for sure, but I think it is because there's a huge cleansing going on, a huge cleansing, and that cleansing has to take place so that justice can happen, right? You have to have dependable system in order to establish the justice. So that is very huge news there on that front. And of course, it's been a very long day. And we worked very, very hard to get up all those articles about James Montoya, about the stamps, about the logbook, about Christina Chavez. We also worked very hard with the Casitas Hoffman information. Um, Huge, huge information there, and more is still pouring in. Um, but to have that connection with the migrant, um, the whole illegal immigrant, the whole immigrant, and trying to get documentation and everything, and having shady business being done by Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and all the financial fraud that she clearly her family has been involved in. Um, it, you know, and having um, Alexander Hoffman's death on August 3rd, but the death certificate that we have, we're in possession of. We're trying to wrap our brains around that. We're really combing over that very, very carefully. And there's a lot of irregularities. I'll just say that there's a lot of irregularities. Um, Something doesn't make sense at all. It just doesn't make sense. So we're really trying to. We just want to let everyone know something really doesn't make sense when it comes to Alexander Gerhard Hoffman Roth. So, and having that connection with the migrant shelter or business, right? And then to have the hotels nearby. Um, yeah. To connect the dots to the Walmart mass shooting, to connect the dots to uh, the targeting of us with the Walmart mass shooting through 3905 Bliss Avenue, through Alexander Hoffman's very strange autopsy report. Uh, yeah, it's all it's all coming together, and I just want to thank everyone. Yeah, and I know I was up very, very early this morning taking the pictures of the moon. And so, and I hope you enjoyed those. That was really amazing. That was so amazing. And both Richard and I are, because of our birth dates, it is in this time, right? This moon time. Everyone has like certain constellations or whatever, but our birthdays are really close, and so maybe that's what makes uh Well, I know he was totally fascinated. He had a sky light window over his bed in Ireland, and he would ask me all these questions about the stars because he could just lay in bed and look at them. It was just amazing, and and I'm just so super fascinated with that, and so I went outside because I knew it was going to be there last night, and I just could not leave. I kept, taking the pictures and pictures and pictures, and it was just amazing. I thought it was more interesting than a solar eclipse. It was just absolutely blew me away. So I'm glad that several people enjoyed seeing those pictures that I posted up, and please share them. And please share all the information about the birth certificate of Hoffman, and about the notaries, and about Montoya and everything. And also, I would say that you too, I think it's a good time now. I think the risk is much, much lower than what it was. And I used to not really ask too much of you on this. But El Paso is a mess. If you live in El Paso and you care about the judicial system, you need to write a letter to President Trump. You need to write Pam Bondi, the judicial system, the Secretary of Justice. You need to absolutely write FBI, Cash Patel. You absolutely need to write the director, because right now we have a botched in El Paso, a botched magistrate court, a botched chief medical examiner, a botched DAs, a botched federal courthouse, a botched, yeah, you can even write Pete Hegseth, um, and help document what is going on, because he needs to know what's happening in El Paso. For him to take action, he needs to be notified over and over again. You have to drive them to do the right thing. Okay. So if you can, if you feel so inclined, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think this is a really good time to join us, because we are like, we file every day. Join us to write letters. You can even use a lot of the articles that I'm posting right now, a lot of the media posts that I'm posting. You can use those to help draft your letters to President Trump. I mean, you say what you want to say, but his administration absolutely needs to know about El Paso. And I think it's time that they get lots of letters. So if you're watching this, get out a pen, get on your computer, whatever, type it, write it, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you write it or type it, or how good your grammar is. And he needs to have the letter in hand, to just like he has the mandate from his election. That gives him so much power. And for El Paso to have the letters in hand, identifying the problems there, that he can address them, is so, so important and so powerful. So I would really ask that. And then tomorrow we'll be posting more information, and you can feel free to glean from our information for your letters. But I think that's what we need to do right now, and I think it's the right time. It is absolutely the right time. And I'll explain more about that tomorrow, why this is so important. So thank you so much for all your love, and thank you for your prayers. And I hope that you will join us in sending out some letters. Where is Veronica Escobar? Right. And we can't, especially if you're living in the county, yeah, you've got to have a legal system, a judicial system, because you're paying for it, right? You're paying for it. So they either need to give you a legal system or you need to get your money back, right? So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.